I am not a historian, but neither are you. So, how about we the people learn this stuff together? Welcome to US 101, and it's a big one because it's the 4th of July. Cue the fireworks! We had a very limited budget. Happy 4th of July to each and every one of you guys, man. And also, happy 241st birthday to the United States of America. Yes, guys, it's a birthday party to celebrate little America growing up and becoming a big person, and of course to celebrate the Declaration of Independence, the document that stated that the United States would be free from British rule and would establish its own nation. And you guys know how to celebrate this weekend. I don't have to tell you, man. Fire up the barbecue, grab some red, white, and blue cupcakes, grab some Roman candles and some M80s, and set those bad boys off at night. And of course, you gotta raise a glass. Now there are many things that you could drink to on the 4th of July. What could you drink to? You could drink to freedom, obviously. You could drink to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, all good choices. But here's another one that you could drink to. Treason! What? You guys do know that the Declaration of Independence was considered an act of treason by Great Britain, right? The founding fathers should have all been marched to the gallows and hung from the neck until they were dead. You guys do know that? Oh no! I've upset you. I've upset you. Okay. No. Just calm down. Calm down. I'm gonna tell you the story. We're gonna provide context because context is key. Right? Relax. Don't cry. Let's go ahead and put things into perspective because, as we all know, perspective is everything. In April of 1775, the Revolutionary War kicks off with the battles of Lexington and Concord in Massachusetts. We've talked about them on the show. But then in October of 1775, King George III, so pissed off that this is happening in the colonies, he starts spouting off about the colonies to Parliament, and on top of that, says that he's going to send even more soldiers, more army and navy to the colonies to quell this silly little rising rebellion. So while the Continental Army, which is being led by George Washington, is doing its best to beat back the British, Thomas Paine, in January of 1776, releases a pamphlet entitled Common Sense. The pamphlet made the case for independence from Britain, and because it wasn't written in a very flowery style, it was written in a way that everybody could read it and understand it, everyone got Paine's message, and independence fever begins spreading across the colonies. Now, before the Second Continental Congress got together in Philadelphia in 1776, state legislatures had to decide whether or not they wanted their state's delegates to say yes to independence when they got together in Philly. And the first state to tell its delegates to say yay to independence was North Carolina in March of 1776. And by May of 1776, 7 other states had approved their delegates to vote for independence. But there were some holdouts. Not every state was automatically on board. And some of those states included New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. So now we cut to June 7, 1776. All the delegates are in Philadelphia. All of them are debating many topics, and one delegate by the name of Richard Henry Lee of Virginia stands up and proposes a resolution to officially declare independence from Great Britain. Lee's resolution, as it became known, reads as thus: Resolved, that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. Following this resolution, debate fired up instantly on the Congress floor. Advocates of the resolution saying, yes, we should approve this and we should declare independence now. Opponents of the resolution were saying, nope, I think instead of doing that, we should probably, raise money to build up our army because we're currently fighting a war right now and it's not going to help if we declare independence and then, we lose. When they couldn't come to a conclusion and then some of the states even threatened to walk out of the discussion, they decided, okay, we need to calm down, cooler heads need to prevail. Let's take a break. But before their break, Congress decided to put together a committee of 5 men that would begin drafting the document that would declare the colony's independence. And that committee of 5 that would start drafting the Declaration consisted of the following gentlemen: Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston. Now, even though there were 5 guys on the committee, 5 men that were supposed to work on the first draft of the Declaration, they all pushed for Thomas Jefferson to write it. Jefferson at first did not want to write the Declaration. In fact, he suggested that John Adams should write the Declaration of Independence, but Adams was a big fan of Jefferson's style of writing and suggested that he should write the Declaration of Independence. Also, according to a history professor of mine, Professor Whalen, he said that Benjamin Benjamin Franklin also pushed for Thomas Jefferson to write the Declaration, but for a slightly less noble reason. Again, as I said at the top of the episode, the word treason, drafting a Declaration of Independence and saying, yeah, I think we're all done with you, and then sending that document to the mother country telling them that you're going to break off all relations, yeah, that there's going to be hell to pay, because they're going to be like, no, this is an act of treason. We are going to you up now. So Franklin suggested that Jefferson write the Declaration because if they pass the Declaration of Independence, but then they fight the war and then they lose the war, and then Britain comes knocking going, yeah, who went ahead and wrote that Declaration of Independence, by the way? Franklin could just be like, he did it. It was all TJ. I had nothing to do with it. I'm going to France. Bye! So he writes the first draft, but before he takes it to the entire Committee of Five, he first takes it to Franklin and to Adams to see what they have to say about it. His document is split into 5 parts, and they are the following: the introduction, the preamble, the grievances, the denunciation, and the conclusion. So he basically introduces why the document was written. Then he states the people's right to replace government if it's not working for them. He follows that with a huge list of grievances against King George as to how he's royally f***ed over the colonists, and then finally the Declaration of Actual Independence. Now, while Jefferson's writing is quite good, I think most people would say, it wasn't all straight from his brain. He was inspired by other writings, most notably the preamble to the Constitution of Virginia, and he was inspired by English philosopher John Locke and his social contract theory. And the social contract theory is basically an agreement between the governed, aka the people, and the governing, aka the government, the people that are in charge. The theory states that the governed, or the people, will obey the laws of the government if the government provides a state where the people can live their lives, do whatever they want, and they'll also be protected, they'll be secure. But if the government doesn't hold up its end of the bargain, then the people have the right to replace that government entirely. So after Jefferson, Franklin, Adams, and the rest of the Committee of Five look over the first draft, it's presented to Congress, who as a whole shorten it's say by a fourth, and they just pretty much, fix it up and, fix up sentence structure to improve the overall look of the Declaration. And then on July 1st, Congress reopens the debate as to whether they should actually declare independence from Great Britain. And then on July 2nd, 12 states vote for independence, and 1 state votes to abstain, that state being New York. So Lee's resolution, which was presented back in June, is passed on July 2nd, and that is why Independence Day is on July 2nd, except for the fact that following the passing of Lee's resolution, the Congress then goes back to the Declaration of Independence, and they approve a final draft on July 4. That is why Independence Day is on July 4, even though technically we declared independence on July 2nd. As for those famous signatures that appear on the Declaration, like John Hancock's, for example, only some of the delegates that approved of the Declaration of Independence signed it on July 4. A lot of the delegates weren't even there when it was approved. They either couldn't make the meeting or they had to go back to their home state. So there were a few delegates that weren't even there when it was approved. That's why they sent another copy of the Declaration on parchment to 56 signers who all signed their names on August 2nd. And 241 years later, that document is housed at the National Archives in Washington, D.C. And if you have not seen the Declaration in person, go. And there you have it, my fellow Americans and my fellow 4th of July celebrators. Just a quick look at the making of the Declaration of Independence and the making of the 4th of July, the making of the holiday that we are all celebrating. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode of US 101. I sincerely appreciate it. And thanks to all of you that have subscribed to the channel, that have left comments on the videos, that share the videos, like the videos. Guys, your being involved makes me want to continue doing this channel much, much more. Thank you for your constant support. You are all loved. Thank you. As always, guys, you can follow US 101 on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. And guys, even though this video comes out on July 3rd, on July 4, tomorrow, there's going to be another episode of US 101 where myself, Hip Hughes History, Keith Hughes, and Mr. Beat, Matt Beat himself, we're actually going to be doing a collaborative video, reading the Declaration of Independence. I know a lot of you guys know that the document exists, but have you ever read the Declaration? Do you actually know what was written inside the Declaration of Independence? You're going to find out tomorrow on that episode. So until then, for this episode, I am all done, and I will see you on the 4th of July. Bye-bye!